Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is Dark Macek with Brutally Delicious, coming into the review of Sabaton's brand new album, Legends. Okay, so Sabaton is like one of the only metal bands to get big in the last 10 or so years. As someone who lives in New York, Sabaton is one of those bands where I'm like, I really hope they play the Garden one of these days. To be frank, other than Ghost, I think they're pretty much the only metal band that has a shot that didn't have a platinum album released sometime before 1995. So I'm really not sure how you could be listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast and not know what Sabaton sounds like, but just in case. Sabaton is a band that is usually thrown into the power metal bucket, which is kind of funny because they don't really sound like any of the other big ones. They don't sound like Halloween, they don't sound like Rhapsody, they don't sound like Blonde Guardian, they just sound like Sabaton. There are bands that have come since that kind of sound like Sabaton, but I think they are the progenitor of what I call the bouncy style of power metal. That is, you can jump to a whole lot of their songs. I challenge you to find songs by Rhapsody and Halloween that you can regularly jump to. You probably can't. And now they are somehow 11 albums into their career and still feeling like some of the new guys. Now, having listened to it, I can say it's everything I would have wanted in a modern Sabaton album. There's definitely some freshness here, but it still sounds like the way I want the band to sound. If they suddenly started doing like full acoustic albums or singing about interpersonal relationships, I don't think any of us really want that. Maybe as a bonus track or something, but we don't want an album full of that. We want Sabaton. Now, on the flip side of that, it is refreshing. It is our first album about something other than World War I in 6 years, I think. It's almost exclusively about way older figures, no modern warfare. I think, historically, the latest figure on this album is Gustavus Adolphus. And, they got a whole album about him already. And with that, let's get into some songs. Templars. This is the lead single for a reason. It sounds like Sabaton, but kind of old school. It's more of a medieval vibe than a lot of their recent offerings. When we talked to Tob England recently, he said that was part of what made them decide to drift away from World War I, which is this riff was kind of too swords to be about machine guns. In a really weird way, this is actually one of the more traditional power metal things about them, which is that most power metal sings about swords and stuff instead of guns. To the best of my knowledge, Sabaton has never brought in dragons yet, so that's when you know they've really gone overboard. Hordes of Khan. Here's another single, and it sounds like a classic Sabaton fast song. Sabaton to me has two kind of styles. There's the plodding, mid-tempo thump that you'll find in Panzerkampf or Carolus Rex and stuff like that. And then you have the fast stuff like this in Screaming Eagles. And I wish they did more of this. So in a way, it's actually pretty fresh because it's rare that they do these double bass burners. Emperor. Here's a great representation of the other example, the plodding mid-tempo thump that you'll find on something like Panzerkampf. This track sounds like it could have been on Carolus Rex or Heroes, which is a much beloved era for the band. I'm sure this song will kill live, which is one of Sabaton's strengths. Made of Steel. Here's a great double bass burner. I'm almost reminded of like Reign of Terror off of the first album. Again, it's so rare that they do this, but it's so good when they do. They still need more of these despite having two on the same album, which I'm not sure they've done before. Also, really cool to write a song about Joan of Arc. Lastly, The Cycle of Songs. This riff reminded me a lot of Queensryche. It's not at all what I was expecting, and it's a very nice change of pace for them. Eventually, the drum beat and the vocals come in, and it's unmistakably Sabaton, which I guess just shows the band can make anything sound like them. But it's a cool departure. Okay, so how the hell did Sabaton release 11 albums? I remember in high school when I was listening to Metal Machine off of Prima Victoria, thinking that they were this, band that was going to be big someday. Well, I was right. Please insert the Matt Damon getting old gif right here. If anything, let's just treat it as a testament to the band, which is 11 albums in. They have their own style. And as I was saying, this album does sound like Sabaton. We're still not tired of it. In fact, we're begging for more. Thanks for this, dudes. Rock on.